The Shallows, directed by Wam Colette Serra, the same guy who brought us Nonstop and Unknown, two thrillers that I find are a bit underrated, is back giving us this shark thriller. It's been a while since we've actually had a good shark movie in theaters. The genre is no longer taken seriously, and if you wanted to see a shark movie, you'd have to tune into the Sci-Fi Channel and watch movies like Sharknado or even Twin-Headed Shark or something. The genre has kind of fallen off, so we really haven't had a whole lot of movies about sharks in movies. So it was good to finally get that back and see that in theaters. So the movie is about this girl who's a medical student. She kind of takes a break and goes to this beach to kind of clear her thoughts, and she's out there looking for herself, I guess you can say. And while she's out there in the open waters, she encounters a shark, which leaves her stranded on this rock, and now she has to deal with how she's going to survive and get back to the beach, which is 200 meters away from where she's located. This movie was a little bit disappointing for me because I was expecting a little bit more out of this movie. There were some things that I liked, and then the movie had its problems as well. Starting with the things that I liked. Visually, the scenery of the beach, the shots that they did of this beach that's in Mexico, was very beautifully shot, and it was really nice to look at, much like the actress in the movie, Blake Lively. And then the big focus, obviously, the shark, because that's what's drawing people to go to see this movie. The shark itself, I think it was a really nice CG shark. It really felt like a legitimate shark, and I liked that as well. The seagull, there's a seagull in this movie that kind of reminds me of Wilson from Castaway. I liked it. It was just sitting there on the rock, completely in her way. But then you realize that the bird is kind of in the same situation that she is, stranded on this rock and not able to go anywhere. Might have been the best part of the movie, too. I do like that the movie tries to take notes from the Jaws film and build the tension by letting us know that the shark is there, but not actually showing us the shark itself. And I thought that was a smart thing to do for this movie. And in a way, it did build that suspense, the tension, just not as well as Jaws, but still decent enough. There were problems that kind of did outweigh some of those positives. And one of the things was right when the movie opened up, and that was the soundtrack. The music in the beginning of this movie is terrible. It is, we get this techno-ish pop music, and it just completely doesn't even fit the movie. I mean, the only thing worse would be Miley Cyrus or Justin Bieber playing in the background. It was terrible. And then the first act of the film, or at least the first half hour of the movie, it's pretty boring. I mean, it almost put me to sleep. There is really nothing happening. It's just shots of the beach. That is all it is. The first act is nothing but different angles of the water, of her surfing, the beach itself. This movie actually reminds me of another film that I saw back in 2009 called A Perfect Getaway. The movie does the same thing. It slowly tries to build up the suspense like this movie. And it throws this backstory of these flashbacks at you, sort of, the same way that this movie does. But the difference is that movie actually completes the story with those flashbacks. This movie doesn't do that. It does try to provide you a backstory to why Blake Lively's character is on the beach. You're not really on board with it from the beginning, and then after I've seen the movie, it's not even developed well. In fact, they don't even bother to develop any of the characters or the story in this film. It's like the movie was pretty much made to satisfy shark fans. Okay, here's this chick, she's stranded on a rock, and there's a shark coming. That's the only thing you should be focusing on, and really, that's the only thing you should be focusing on or caring about in this movie, because everything else that surrounds this movie is just a letdown. The backstory with her parents and why she's on the beach, very weak, undeveloped. They might as well not even have had any of the other characters in this movie. It should have been just All Is Lost, which came out back in 2012 with Robert Redford. A guy who's stranded out on the ocean in a boat, and that's it. He's the only person in the entire film. That's what this movie should have been. I'm not saying it shouldn't have had any dialogue, but it should have just had Blake Lively, and all these other supporting actors shouldn't have even been in the movie because they're not even developed at all, and they serve no purpose in the movie. And there's also another thing in this movie. In the first act, Blake Lively's character, she asks the driver who's taking her to this beach, She asks him a question, and he ignores her. And once they actually get to the beach, she asks him the question again. This time, he tells her, "Careful." That's all he says. And then we are left pondering the next hour of this movie this exact question that she asked him. And the movie doesn't even bother to answer the question. You would think that by the end of the movie, we will get an answer or something throughout the movies. Give us an answer. No, they drop it. They don't even bother mentioning it. It's like they never even said it to begin with. And you can only assume that the title of the movie is the answer to the question, but then that even begs to ask us even more questions. So I don't know why it was thrown in there. They either forgot that was in the movie or something, but they never even bothered to give us any explanation. They came up with this idea of this chick being stranded on a rock with a shark trying to kill her, and then they just couldn't come up with how exactly they're going to expand the story. The ending just didn't do it for me. I wish they would have done something differently, but it is what it is. With that being said, I'm going to be giving The Shallows a C+. In all, The Shallows is a decent thriller, but it is no Jaws. I don't even think it's better than Jaws 2. There's just many things surrounding this movie that aren't complete. The only thing that is complete is the shark trying to kill this girl and what she's going to do to get back on shore. There is some enjoyability to this movie, and if you do like shark movies or movies that just take place in the open waters, you probably will enjoy this movie, but it has its problems, whether it's through the soundtrack, whether it's the undeveloped characters, the story that leaves you just hanging there, thrown in there for no real reason. I don't say that this is like a must-see movie in theaters, but it's definitely worth checking out. But anyway, guys, that is my review of The Shallows. If you've seen this movie, comment your thoughts down below. Did you enjoy this movie? Do you think that this is the best movie we've had since Jaws, or at least Jaws 2? Just leave that down below in the comments section. And as always, you can like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content. And I will see you guys next time for more unboxings, reviews, and movie news.